I just want to say this. There is no substitute for winning. We must win. We will win. Win is the name of the game.
Dallas Cowboys fans, let's get ready to rumble!
We got a job to do, and we're going to do it, baby!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to It's Always 3rd and 7, your podcast about your Dallas Cowboys. And joining me today in the film room is Chris Jackson, soon to be Colin shortly. In the meantime, it's just CJ and I, just doing a duo. Detroit, the score was not a true picture of the game, was it? Tell me your thoughts, CJ.
No, sir. I got a couple observations. First of all, if you think about it, we're lucky we got this defense because the offense is struggling for sure. One of the things we got, Cowboys won the toss and elected to receive. We normally do not see that. A couple things that you would think of is probably because Dak was getting into they wanted to get him into a rhythm. So maybe like a lot of times they say that some of the first plays are scripted. And also you have faith in your defense is something I wrote down here as a note. I think, though, if you look at it, that first drive to get us Dak into it, right, was three
I
plays
see what you did there. Dak into it, yes, very nice.
It was 3 plays and a punt, unfortunately. And then he got sacked. The next 4 drives of the half were 3 and out. We did get a 22-yard field goal, 4 plays because of a penalty, and a punt. Noah Brown had a fumble. So we actually had 8 plays on that drive, and then we killed it with a fumble. At the start of the third quarter, though, the Lions, they threw a pick. So that was another mini turnovers that we got. And then because of Zeke and Pollard, if you go look at the tape or the play-by-play, that's really what got us to the 10-6 lead. One of the things that I would love to hear your thoughts on is with 12:41 to go in the game, Detroit had it on the one. I think it was a great effort by Parsons to stop him right at the one. If you saw it actually on film, he just was faster. It's like a kid. If you look Little League and someone is just way faster and bigger than everyone, you see he just kind of turboed in, stopped him at the one, and then Lawrence with that stick got the fumble. To the Cowboys' credit, we did go down then and score after that play. But the last thing I'll say is with 3:30 to go in the game, it's still 10-6. Now, the Cowboys were driving. They got the ball with like 8 minutes, so take that into play. But still, that's too comfortable, or that's too close to comfort, especially against the Lions.
Yeah, one of the things that was different this time for us is we tend to not be very social on Cowboy games. We don't go to a lot of people's houses. We don't have a lot of people over. Very quickly, a sporting event can become a social gathering. And just Chris and I love social gatherings. But when we're going to watch the Cowboys or a Rangers playoff game, which has not happened in years, we tend, or a Mavericks playoff game, we tend to let's just watch the game and then we can socialize a different time. But some friends of ours invited us over to the game. So we were at their house and it was a good time. We had a great time. Our friends were wonderful. We had just a lovely time meeting everyone. But it is, you tend to watch a little different when you're also visiting with people. So the best moment for us is what you were talking about. We're all in the living room. Love you, Mike and Cherry. And God, that tenderloin. Oh, that tenderloin.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, yeah.
I already ate the leftovers, Mike. Appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, yeah. So the Lions are on like the 1-yard line. They're about to go in. And Chris like, okay, I'm going to take a bathroom break. So Chris is in the bathroom, that's right off the living room. And we start screaming. And he's like, what? Okay, why are they this excited? Why are they this excited?
All of a sudden, everyone's going so crazy. Yeah, so I'm like, something had good happen. And so luckily the magic of
he came out obviously
Yeah,
washed his hands because,
of
Chris
course.
Jackson is, yeah, but anyway, he comes out and you tell it, CJ.
Yeah, luckily because of Big Mike, we could rewind it. And so yeah,
Yeah.
I got to see Lawrence just stick him, fumble. And then from
Yeah.
there we kind of broke the game open.
Yeah.
And Lions kind of played Lions football. And to the Cowboys' credit, they took advantage of it.
Yeah.
But it was an
So
ugly game. It was a lot of punts, a lot of turnovers. Now, if you're a Cowboys fan like Tony, like you're a Cowboys fan, it was a great day towards the end. But I
yeah.
still say, very late in the game, it was too close. And just because the Cowboys were rushing or the ball and had the momentum, Dan McDowell, doesn't mean that something couldn't have happened either. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go, could you get the ball back? That's a what if,
hmm
Sam, but
So
it's just something to consider.
so Chris, you said this, and I'm going to set you up to go on a little mini rant, hopefully. Um, you said, let's see how good this offense is. And based on just so far, I realize we've had 4 games with Cooper Rush, right?
Mhm.
Um, and now we had 2 with Dak. How are you feeling? Is this, or I guess it was 5 with Cooper Rush,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, 5 and now
because
2
it
with
was
Dak.
4-1 and we
Yeah,
lost against Tampa and then we just beat the
yeah, yeah.
Lions.
So we're
Yeah.
5-2. What are you thinking about this offense?
I don't have any faith in it right now currently. And how could you really? I will say that you could think about the Lions are the Lions and the Cowboys are great front runners. And so when at the end of the game, we got another turnover. Jared Goff started doing Jared Goff things, Colin Bernier, and we kind of blew the game open. With a better team, I don't know that we would have had the lead like that necessarily. And also, it's hard to rely on your defense every single game. We saw against who am I missing? The Eagles, right? The defense played so well, but you're still going to have to score points, especially in this offense. This isn't a Coach Gross. Shout out to Coach Gross. St. Monica, run the ball, play defense. I mean, we've actually been playing that, but it turns out I don't really have any confidence in the offense whatsoever. What say you?
Yeah, I don't either. CeeDee Lamb has flashes, right? He makes a great catch. He wipes his nose because he's so sick, and we'll see a couple of the other, like Pollard and Zeke, seem to be like, I read a columnist say, let's quit worrying about who's got most carries. Let's just keep working these two together and just a 1-2 punch. And I agree with that. They seem to be doing a little something. Um, I
Well,
was not excited about Schultz, but he had a good game this past
yes,
week.
he
So
did. This was his best game of the
yeah,
season.
so you want to have you want to have all 3 phases, right? Complementary football. But
That's what we play.
yeah, I am a little worried that when we get to a really strong defense, are we going to be able to score? And will our defense keep bailing us out with short fields? And I have to say, it was disheartening when we get that great return and we end up punting. Hey,
Yep.
just when you have that short of a field, you have to get points. I don't care if it's just a field goal. You need those points, and we didn't get it. So it was kind of depressing on that.
Yeah.
Overall, you always feel happy with a win. I know they're hard, and as as old sportscasters have said time and time again, the other guys get paid too, right? Dale Hansen, who's
Yes,
now
sir.
retired, used to say they pay the other guys too, and um, and we know from the days when Dan Campbell was here, he is a good guy. He is a good motivator, and so he's working with a really bad team. So I just don't know, and I'm hoping that we have kind of the Wizard of Oz streak right now. We did the Lions. Now we're going to do the Bears. Oh my,
There you go.
that we can kind of get a little momentum going. But
We've got our bye
I'm not
week after this week too.
right.
And that'd be
Yeah.
good just for regrouping, kind of. And it's also too, sometimes you don't want the bye week too early or too late. And so it's perfect to kind of get it right in the middle of the season. A couple things about the offense. We're
Sure.
our 14th in the league at rushing,
Okay.
so about a little bit above average. Our third down is 33%. That is 30th in the league. That is something that we're definitely going to need to improve on if we're going to try and go anywhere and to try to improve the offense. Third down is always, that's why it's third and always 7. Third down is the most important. It's almost like a rebound
Right.
in basketball. Run
Yeah.
the ball, or try to get there, and you got to get that rebound on third down, and that's something that we've struggled with this whole season. I think really, if we were to break it down, our passing game is below average to average at best. Our run game is average to above average at best.
Yeah.
And our kicker though is average at best to great, or
Yeah, I
our
think
punter.
our punter is normally good, and for all our concerns, Mahar seems to got his head right with ball and is doing pretty well. Yeah,
Have
next
we
week
had him in a situation for a game winning? I don't know if we have or
I
not. If
don't
we have, it hasn't been too
no, I
much. So
don't
he's
think he
been good
has this
so
season.
far,
Yeah.
but we'll
Yeah.
see when the games get tight if he can come through in the clutch. But so
I
far,
do
yes, he
I
has
do
done well.
I do want to bring up that in our last podcast, I brought up the St. Monica's Bearcats sleeping early morning games. And it did seem like it was at halftime that the Cowboys and I am being overly facetious, like, oh, we're in a game. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe, wow, okay, let me splash some water on my face and get moving, right?
Yeah, it is true. I feel like every 12 o'clock game, we are a little bit sluggish.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, that gets us into the Bears
right.
12 o'clock game this week.
Yeah.
Cowboys are 5-2. The Bears are 3-4. As of ESPN, depends on what line you look at. The Cowboys are favored by 10, and the over/under is 42.5.
Mm.
Jesse, what do you think? How do you see this week shaping up for the Cowboys?
So I think Dak will have a little less rust. I think that um we I think the idea that we were there, it's another home game, right? So we're at Jerry World at noon. So we don't have to worry about the
The
windows and
sun, the
sun,
sun,
which
yep.
is which is
Will he have the sunroof open? Will he have it? I don't know if we got the weather. I think
yeah,
it's
vamp
going to
while I
be
pull up on the
70s.
internet and I
Bad
will
acting, bad acting, bad acting while we
bad acting,
stall.
yes.
I
According to this, Sunday should be a high of 71 with a low of
Jerry,
47.
come
Why?
on, Jerry,
Yes,
for the fan. Open the
yes,
roof.
yes. And so this should be a game that we win. Now you get into your head. Are they thinking of the bye week too much? Are they thinking, oh, the Bears suck, we're going to knock this one out, then we get a long rest? This this is so unfair, Chris, but it's just the reality is, as a fan, and you have been a fan your whole life, as we talked about, you were born in February 1989 during the Landry era.
I'm a
Like,
Landry baby.
I remember us bringing you home from the hospital, and within a week on that Saturday night, Jerry firing Tom and hearing all this stuff. I mean, so
I can't remember the games not being on.
right.
Maybe over the years we've made it a little bit more of a bigger deal, which
Yeah.
has just been even better.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the games not being on, and Irving
Yeah.
When even before I was really into it, going outside and coming back in and just
Yes.
feeling the buzz
Right.
around town. Yeah, it's
So,
family.
and I always, in the past, and this is not fair to this team, but unfortunately, that's what there is a lot of good having the star on your helmet, and there's a lot of bad. And one of the good is in the past, this team thinks it did something before it ever did it. You know, the old thing, you know, was born on third base and thought he hit a triple. You know,
Yep.
this team thinks, hey, we're the Cowboys. Right. And you're like, yeah, you know
And
what
so
the
do the
Cowboys mean? They
fans,
suck. Right.
right? And
So,
so do the
yeah,
fans too.
yeah.
It's I like a Notre Dame. That's
Hmm.
the biggest comp I can ever think, except Notre Dame's
Yeah.
at least been in title games, so never mind.
Yeah.
Right? They've been blown out, but
Yeah.
they've at least been there. I got some stats for you,
Please.
Collie. Yeah, Collie. Shout out to Collie and JW.
Yeah.
Cowboys are only giving up 14 points per game this season.
Okay.
Bears are only giving up 18. So with a struggling offense, so it's kind of again struggling offense, struggling, or in a good defense,
Yeah.
and 12 o'clock game, like we talked about. Now the Bears had to travel uh, and played last night on a Monday night, so they're going to be on a short week. Then they have to travel to Dallas. One of the
That's a
things
tough
that works for there,
combination.
though, because they've got a young quarterback, is their rushing game. They're averaging 181 rush yards per game. Jay Wayne, what is, if we even have a complaint, because we shouldn't, but if we're
Yeah.
going to get into the film room, we got to be honest. The biggest weakness or the biggest Achilles heel so far for the Cowboys defense is what?
Hmm.
Rushing,
Rushing. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so averaging 181 rush yards per game, they had 243 rush yards last night. Now, we talked about Fields being a young quarterback. He does have legs, so he can get outside the pocket. And if things break down, he can make us pay. Last night, we talked about maybe he's not the best passer, but he had 82 yards only on 14 carries. So that's something that really goes into their rush game, right? They have such a high total, but then also a big key for the Cowboys on defense. You want Parsons maybe on a spy and whatnot. Just don't put Van Der Esch on a spy.
All right. So today they traded for defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins. You know me, I don't know much about other players. Um, he was a Raider. What do you know about him, Chris? Anything at all?
I don't. The only thing I could get, shout out to my boy Garza. He said that he's a good run defender. So it's trying to beefing up the run. We just talked about that. And that he used to play for the Giants, I believe, and that he was pretty good. And this, I respect my boy Garza's opinion. So this could be a really good plus. I think he will probably play this Sunday. So we'll see. I think it's also a great Gary Grant to have that continuous defensive line change. So it's just another guy to add in there to give someone a blow. That way in the fourth quarter, we're facing the same offensive lineman, but they're facing different tackles. And then I think that actually, Dad, let's think about that. That's probably why the other night that we had all those turnovers and whatnot at the end of the game. We were fresh.
Yeah.
And we've got Parsons and they don't.
So I'm reading, the Cowboys website. So of course they're going to slant this. RJ Osha
Okay.
is saying, but he said that PFF has
Pro Football
Hankins
Focus.
graded better after the run against the run, better against the run than every Cowboy interior defender except for Tristan Hill. So so that means he
Perfect.
is we gave them a 6th round draft pick for next year, and we picked up a 7th in 2024. So we will see. Fans seem to be happy with it. I have not checked the other sides. I always wonder, why are the Raiders wanting to get rid of someone? If they're that
Yeah.
good,
We
but
got We
you
got
know,
Cooper from the Raiders.
yeah,
And we see, I haven't looked his numbers up, but he has done pretty well with, and would we not, I'm going to keep banging this drum until it starts getting cold in Cleveland, and then hopefully Cooper kind of shows why we got rid of him. But for
yeah,
right now, I would love to have Amari Cooper. If
yeah,
we had Amari Cooper for this week's game or even last week, I would pick a blowout
yes,
because the Cowboys would, they're a great front running team, especially
yeah,
against bad teams. And for
yeah,
some reason, we're playing bad teams now and we're not. And it's one person, but CeeDee Lamb is still trying to evolve to be that number one.
hmm,
He's made some good catches and he didn't have a drop, I don't think, the other day. Maybe he did.
hmm,
But he still seems to be like a 1.5, like a complimentary player. Nothing like the presence of a Dez Bryant or the production of a Amari Cooper.
yeah,
For that, I think the Cowboys, we had the number one ranked offense last year.
right,
In the offensive line, we only had 2 sacks last week. And we talked, the first one was on the first series. Only
yeah,
one more the rest of the game. So the offensive line's been pretty good. The receiving core, if anything, we've added more tight ends that have made some plays. But the receivers, I don't think we're getting separation. I think we've really, really missed Amari Cooper.
yeah. We were hoping Colin would be able to shake away, but family
He's
duties.
silently
Yes,
protesting the show.
yes, yes. He's
We're
like,
still
yeah,
in
distancing.
negotiations.
Yes.
We do appreciate his support.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that they may not cover the 10 points. So I'm going to say Cowboys 24, Bears 14, which would mean it's kind of a push, right? Because that's exactly 10.
Yeah.
I think I got lucky last time. I was able to pick that it was going to be a tighter spread. But I'm going to say Cowboys 24, Bears 14.
So
But
that's above the
yeah,
that's on the over.
yep,
And I feel with your
that's
heart you're going
38.
with the Cowboys too at
Always
that
Cowboys.
score.
Yes,
At that
yes.
score.
Yeah.
I think look for Turpin to maybe break this game open and
Yeah.
help the front running start, and that the passing game may get a little bit better because they're good against the run. So maybe we need to rely on that. They're coming off the Monday night game, but they're a bunch of youngsters, so I'm not sure how much really that's going to play into it. It's a 12 o'clock game, so we'll see. I've got down here, Cowboys need to improve on third down. And they got
Yeah,
to
I
get them
agree.
off the field on third down and make sure and stay on the field on third down.
Yeah, I
I've
agree.
got the Cowboys. Last thing, the Cowboys little thing. Cowboys are +6 in turnovers, which is second in the league. So they're causing them and they're not turning the ball over. So
Yeah.
that right there is a formula for success, especially with our run game. But in this passing NFL, I'm still nervous about that. And
Yeah.
we could see it, the eye test, right, Jay Wayne, that this is not that good of an offense. Could this be the week that the team gets back on track? I actually do think they will. The Bears are going to show fight early, but the Cowboys get back on track. Cowboys passing game gets back on track 28-13. And I'm taking the under.
Very nice.
Yep.
Okay,
I
good.
think it's going to be a Turpin kind of I think something's going to spark the offense.
I would love
think
that.
I could see a 3 and out, maybe some groans again, but then either a turnover or a blocked punt or a Turpin long return or maybe even a touchdown. I think that's what's going to spark it. The Bears are going to remember that they're the Bears, just like the Lions. No disrespect, because the Cowboys do that in big games
Sure.
too, but that is the way. Shout out to Tim Sekula. We're gonna get
Yeah.
the dub on him. But yeah, Cowboys win. Passing game gets back on, and it is 28-13. You heard it here first.
All right. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, listeners.
Cheap plug out to our listeners.
Yes.
We've got a at kayfabe CJ is a Twitter handle that my father and I created, try to help out promote the show. So if you want to follow us, we're probably trying to figure out some kind of creative ways to kind of interact.
Yep.
If you've got scores or whatnot that you want to give to us, or maybe you don't agree with one of our points, or maybe you do agree with them, or maybe you want to make your own. We'd love to get your feedback. I think it's setlessongbruce@gmail. Maybe we
Yes,
can
it's
create a
setlistingbruce.
third and
Yeah.
seven at Gmail or something like that. But
Setlessingbruce@gmail.com. Our voicemail 469-249-2442. I'm at Jesse Jackson DFW. Chris, say again your Twitter handle.
at kayfabe CJ, like wrestling kayfabe.
All right, very nice. All right, so listeners, take care. We'll talk to you again next week. And now we're gonna say go Cowboys. And Jim Beam, like we could use a sponsor.
We would. Jim Bean, this week we appreciate you non-sponsoring. And shout out to Junes. What's up, Junes?
All right, bye everyone.
Peace.
So Colin wasn't able to join us, but he did send in his thoughts about the game.
Mr. Bernier here, back with the only podcast that matters when you're talking about the Cowboys, and Cowboys. I am doing a silent protest of the studio currently for several reasons. One, CJ smells. He smells bad. He doesn't shower. He refuses to shower, so I refuse to be around him. I think that's fair. Jesse just plugs his nose, and I don't think he should have to suffer through that. Two, I don't like CJ's haircut. He looks nice, but I don't like it. I think he looks too professional. He needs a little bit of a wild do. Maybe a mohawk, maybe a faux hawk. I don't know. Do something different. We've seen it before, CJ. Get something new. But yeah, so I'm back here. Good game on Sunday. Happy with what the Cowboys did. Happy with the defense, obviously. A bunch of takeaways. We talked about mistakes from the game before, and they didn't make them this past Sunday. I think that added to why the Cowboys won. We did talk about the offense with Dak coming back. Rush on the bench. Dak gets paid a lot of money, so does Zeke. So I think they should see the most action. That's where we're putting all the money, even though that's not who is necessarily giving you the biggest pop. Like CJ likes to say, only point I'll give him is, Pollard pops off the screen. And what did he do last week? He popped off the screen. Every time he touched the ball, I think he only touched the ball 8 times and had more yards than Zeke, who touched it about 20-something. The guy gets it, but I think the two-headed attack is still a good plan moving forward. Wide receivers still need to step up. Didn't like what I saw out of the wide receivers again. Tight end play was a little bit better this week. Run game was obviously great, and defense played lights out. First half was boring and slow, unlike what I thought was going to be happening in the game. Exactly like CJ thought was going to happen in the game. Second point, I'll only give him two an episode. But started off slow, and then that defense woke up in the second half. And I think that's all we really need to do to win games is have the defense come alive in the second half and get 5 turnovers. I think that's a pretty easy thing to do the rest of the season. Just keep doing that over and over again, and I think the Cowboys will win out. But yeah, I like the offense. I'm disappointed in the wide receivers still, but I think the offense is going to get there. I think with Dak back, now everybody has a chance to meld together. That rushing offense can get even more proficient while the passing game starts to step up. Special teams, again, dang it. 3. I'll give CJ 3 this episode, one time only. Turpin. Kid gets it. Kid makes plays. Kid gets open in space on special teams, and it makes it exciting. I think whenever you have that X factor on special teams, you always got a chance. Looking forward to the Bears game. I will be watching it with CJ, unfortunately, because he does take a shower on Sundays, usually just for the Cowboys. Only time he does. Everybody that works with him knows. His dog knows. Shout out to Charlie. Poor guy. He knows. But the Bears, It's going to be a good game. I don't think they'll cover that spread. I think it'll be a closer game than that. But I think it'll be a good game, and I think the Cowboys come out with the W again. But I think it'll be a closer game than that. Hopefully the offense can start clicking, and that'll be a way to kind of go into the beginning of halfway through the season, get that ramp up for the second half. And I think, give me the Cowboys, but I don't think they'll cover that spread. And I believe it's 48. I'll take the under 2. Yeah, that's my Vegas bet. Put the money into Vegas. Love you guys. JW, sorry that you're getting caught up in this silent protest, but CJ really needs to get it right with the hygiene. All right, love you guys. I'm out.